Party in the city where the heat is on. The Hoosiers are going to Miami, but for football fans to get there, it will not come cheap. Thanks for inviting us in. It's now 11 o'clock. Luckily, there is some stuff a little closer to home that is much easier on the wallet. Logan Gay spent tonight in Bloomington, where fans could get some Hoosier hype on the house.
The hype is real here in Bloomington as IU is gearing up to face Miami. Fans race here to the upstairs pub to get their hands on one of these newly released collector's posters.
We showed up right at 3, walked in, and just grabbed the posters for all our friends.
Sophie Riley was one of the first through the door, hoping to score a poster.
Super fun. It's got all like the bowl games and all that. So, just a great commemorative poster for a historic moment.
Fans walked out carrying 1, 2, even 3 posters at a time. Each one a keepsake of a season they won't forget.
I just think it's part of history. Like it may never happen again. I think we're doing really well. So it's a big, exciting news.
This is something I could hang up in my room, even in my house.
I'm framing mine.
Yeah, so. But it's like a memory. We're going to the national championship, and this is just like showing it. Something we'll never forget.
The artwork captures every step of IU's historic run, including the team's final stop.
I love the beach. There's like all these different references to Miami, obviously, because we're going to be there. But I love Kurt. He's not happy.
What about Cincinnati?
That's a good representation because he never smiles, and he's not smiling.
And even if some fans aren't heading to Miami, they say they'll be cheering just as loud from right where it all began, Bloomington.
I hope they knock this out of the park in the next game, which I think they will.
We'll definitely win. If we crush Oregon, we're going to crush Miami. So it'll just be fun, so much energy.
Now all that's left to do is wait and see if this historic team has one more win left in it. In Bloomington, Logan Gay, 13 News.
Well, as you know, the Hoosiers are in pursuit of perfection. They've got to win one more to get there. It would be historic, of course. A 16-0 season, only one other team has ever done it. But that's not the message that the coach, Curt Cignetti, is giving his guys this week. Instead, it's business as usual for his Hoosiers. Luckily for everybody involved, when you're talking about this IU team, the usual business is winning.
This week is no different than any other week. We have to be on point. We have to stack meetings, practices, and go in totally prepared. But then you got to put it on the field, against a great opponent.
So it'll be the Hoosiers and Hurricanes 1 week from tonight. Fun fact, Miami's head coach, Mario Cristobal, and IU quarterback Fernando Mendoza went to the same high school in Miami, and the connection goes back even further. Cristobal played high school football with Fernando's dad. So to get a seat in the stadium for that title game, the least it's going to cost you, at least right now, is $3 grand. The binoculars cost extra. So we checked all the usual suspects: Ticketmaster, SeatGeek, StubHub. The numbers shake out about the same. According to ticketdata.com, the cheapest price to get into last year's championship was around $6,000, right before the game started. So when it comes to these prices for IU fans, the opponent proves unlucky. Driving the high cost, Miami at home, and Hoosiers consistently traveling for their team's historic season. IU economist Kyle Anderson told us the prices reflect market economics with super high demand.
The Super Bowl is one that we think of where prices are always quite high. So yeah, it's not uncommon to see really high prices, but a lot of times they'll end up coming down before the actual game or event happens.
Anderson went on to tell us 9 times out of 10, ticket prices drop as you get closer to an event, but make sure you're buying from a reputable seller. Good luck, Hoosiers. And if you're not making the trip to Miami and the TV in your house just isn't big enough for a national championship game, the Fishers Event Center is hosting a watch party Monday night. Doors open at 7. It's a free event, but a ticket is required. You can get one online. We've got a link so you can do so on WTHR.com. And we are your home for all things Hoosiers. Our sports team is heading to Florida a little later this week, where Dom and Eli will be leading our coverage, which begins on Friday. And you can see extended moments from Miami and get caught up on IU's incredible run on our streaming app, WTHR+. Angela?
Scott, temperatures in the 30s on this Monday night. Not quite as cold out the door tomorrow morning, but still cold enough you'll need that coat. We're at 34 in Indianapolis and Shelbyville, 39 degrees in Bloomington at this hour. Early morning temperatures in the low to mid 30s. Sunrise is at 8:05. The weather will be quiet for your morning drive to work and school, and we'll be able to shed some layers tomorrow afternoon. High temperatures in the upper 40s and low 50s. Forecasting 53 in Indianapolis, 49 in Richmond, and 54 in Columbus tomorrow afternoon. Take advantage, because as we look ahead, a temperature drop is coming, and the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook is colder than average.
Angela, thanks. Right now, state lawmakers are debating a bill that would create a new governing body to oversee IPS and charter schools. This would be called the Indianapolis Public Education Corporation. The Indianapolis mayor would appoint the 9 members. So the idea here stems from several recommendations made by the Indiana Local Education Alliance. Lawmakers created the alliance last year to take a look at the future of IPS, but not everyone is on board with this new board.
We have an elected school board with IPS. Why are we creating another layer of government where there is no transparency and it's very difficult to have any accountability?
By creating an appointed board, it will strip parents of their power, and that's not going to strengthen our schools. It will distance families from them.
That bill will also call for a new school performance framework that all schools would be required to follow. Chronically underperforming schools would face closure. The House Education Committee heard testimony today, but did not make any decisions. And we just got a statement from the IPS Board of School Commissioners tonight saying they support elements of this bill that set the school district up for further success. But then it goes on to say, we want to underscore the importance of local representation and an elected body in the governing of IPS schools. We have been given the critically important role of representing the voices of our community, and this representation must continue into the future. Now, the members encourage IPS stakeholders to continue making their voices heard. Well, Wednesday night, Governor Mike Braun will deliver his State of the State address. He'll address a joint session of the Indiana General Assembly beginning at 7:30. That's a speech you'll be able to see right here on Channel 13 and also streaming over on WTHR+. You'll also be able to see the Democratic response. We'll have a full wrap-up of that event for you on 13 News at 11. Right now, the Marion County Jail is full tonight. The sheriff points to several reasons behind the overcrowding, but he says it starts with state delays. Sheriff Kerry Forrestal says all 2,400 funded beds are occupied tonight, and he says at least 175 of those people are already sentenced, waiting to be transferred to state prison.
The Department of Corrections needs to take possession of their prisoners. They've been sentenced. They're not being held for court here. They need to be housed in their prisons, not in our county jail.
The sheriff went on to tell us that those delays aren't the only reason that jail is full. He also told us recent increases to the county's bail system and shifts in immigration enforcement are keeping more inmates in jail and for longer. Sheriff Forrestal says he's met with ICE officials who've promised to pick up longer-term ICE detainees more often. Barry Morphew just pleaded not guilty to a first-degree murder charge connected to the death of his wife, Suzanne. Suzanne Morphew was a native of Alexandria, Indiana. She disappeared on Mother's Day in 2020 out in Colorado. This is the second time Barry Morphew faced a potential murder trial. He was previously arrested and charged in this case in May of 2021 before anyone discovered Suzanne's body. But days ahead of his trial, prosecutors dropped those charges. And then a grand jury indicted Barry Morphew last June. Prosecutors believe Morphew killed Suzanne, citing new evidence that they say ties him to a tranquilizer found in her system. Authorities found her remains in rural Colorado more than 3 years after she disappeared. Barry Morphew has always maintained his innocence. Morphew is due back in court in March.